Good evening, soldier. Is he here? Yes, sir, he's here. Go on in. Echo Lima India? Yes, sir. At ease, Sergeant. It has been brought to our attention that you were hired by the Shards Corporation to perform covert operations for them. Is that correct? Yes, sir, that is correct. Now, you are a kaboom operator, and we are very delicate with how our sister companies handle our operatives, as well as the tasks they deal to them. Understand? I understand, sir. Tell me, Echo, what was it that Shards made you do? Well, we were informed by Shards to meet them at a top-secret laboratory. We were told that the facility was overrun by zombies, and that we would be completing various tasks in the laboratory. What kind of tasks? Tasks in favor of recovering the laboratory and what they researched there. What did these tasks involve? Mostly recovering briefcases, hacking stations, repairing generators, planting bombs, killing zombies, or surviving for a certain time. Sounds like a lot of work. It wasn't really that hard, sir. We only had to complete one task per floor. How many floors were you tasked to complete? As much as we wanted, sir. They always gave us the option to turn back once we had completed a floor. The more floors we completed, however, the more they paid us. Sounds generous of them. But then again, they don't want to be held responsible for the deaths of operatives that are not theirs. We were told the risk of infection was very high too. And you were given appropriate safety gear? Yes, sir. Good. Now, Kaboom Incorporated has close ties to the Shards Corporation. However, we were not made aware of this laboratory that Shards had. Now, given that you had completed numerous tasks within the laboratory, we assume that you were able to discern its purpose. Yes, sir, but I must add that Shards told us not to speak about what we found or saw in the laboratory, but they reluctantly agreed to let us inform only Kaboom Incorporated of what we saw, as it was a requirement in our contracts. Well, what did you see? Well, on the surface it didn't look like much. It looked like a typical laboratory. Offices, server rooms, cafeterias. It looked rather ordinary. However, the deeper we went, the more this laboratory's true colors began to show. We reached storage rooms containing this shiny blue substance, as well as little rooms where they were experimenting with it. We went deeper and we found cave systems where they were mining out the blue substance. The blue substance I believe you're talking about is called Rift. Shards famously released a Rift grenade containing the material, capable of summoning a friendly infected to aid in combat. If the substance is Rift, it would explain why the facility was infected in the first place. Maybe some kind of leak? Exactly. Or maybe they weren't aware of the effects of Rift at the time. Oh, they were well aware of it, sir. We found surgery rooms and test chambers. I can only deduce that they were experimenting on test subjects down there. That would explain their vast knowledge of the effects of Rift on people. That's not all, sir. I believe the Rift grenade is not the only way they were planning to weaponize Rift. We found 2 dormant nuclear missiles deep inside the facility. I can only assume that they contained Rift. Nukes, you say? Security? Yes, sir? Tell the Major that we may have a DEFCON 2 concerning the Shards Corporation. Will do, sir. What else did you find on there? We found something else that Shards most likely expected us not to have found. Which were? We found vaults. They required keycards to access. Shards most likely didn't actually expect us to retrieve the keycards from somewhere within the facility and access the vaults. The vaults had various tiers: blue, green, yellow and red, each one requiring a respective colored keycard. What were in those vaults? Aside from the large amounts of weapons and supplies, they contained these top secret files. Well, what did you do with the files? Well, we thought we'd keep them. Shards tried to get us to give them the files for free once they found out we had them. but we told them that that was not part of our original contract. So they struck up a deal with us. We get them files, and in exchange they give us keys or other valuables. Is there any chance that you had a look at those files? No, sir. It was part of our agreement with Shards that we couldn't read any of the files or data that we found or collected, regardless of whether we were told to collect it or not. Right. Let's move on to Infected. I'm well aware that you are very familiar with the Infected that we fight above ground. Were these Infected any different? They were. Many of the Infected seemed healthier and faster. They also had these face huggers that would detach from the heads of their dead hosts and continue to pursue us. That's quite a serious mutation. It sure is, sir, but I think it's owing to the more direct and constant exposure to Rift from within the laboratory. This is even more evidenced in the mutant zombies. Mutant zombies, you say? Yes, sir, there were some pretty powerful zombies down there. What can you tell me about these mutants? Well, there was one pale blue mutant that could weave webs to slow us down. There was this one with crab-like armor and pinchers that could charge us down. And there was this dark one that caused the environment to become darker. The dark zombie almost seemed unaffected by bullets, but once stunned by a flash grenade, it didn't seem to be able to dodge bullets anymore. And that's all? That's all, sir. Alright. Thank you, Echo, for your time. I need to get this information to the higher brass. Considering the dangers that the laboratory contains, and due to the sensitive nature of this laboratory, Kaboom Incorporated has decided to renew your contract with Shards to continue recovering their laboratory. I understand, sir, but if I may ask, what is going to be done about Shards giving us the cold shoulder about this laboratory? That is for the higher brass to decide whether we take action or not. Understood? Understood, sir. Alright then, have a good one, Sergeant. He may return to his quarters. Ensure, however, that he is seen by medical staff first to determine any possible rift infections. Already done that, sir. Results came back negative. Good.